The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT Magazine, closed-circuit cameras are patrolling the streets of Surrey.
A conference is addressing the growing graffiti problem.
And a homeless shelter competes online for more funding.
Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Kylie Edwards.
And I'm Justis Doucet. The City of Surrey has announced a new public safety strategy, which uses surveillance cameras to help curb crime. Caleb Harder has more.
These security cameras could soon be appearing at coffee shops in Surrey as part of the city's new crime prevention program.
I'm pleased to announce Project Iris, which is an initiative that builds on the concept of using cameras to help police gather evidence.
Project Iris encourages citizens and local businesses to register their existing CCTV cameras with the city. The footage could then be used by police to investigate crimes.
If there's an incident that occurs in the area where they have cameras, we can contact them and see if they'd be willing to allow those cameras and that footage to be used in investigating a crime.
The city currently has over 400 cameras placed at traffic stops, all of which could be used to help police gather evidence in the case of a crime. They'd like to add privately owned cameras into this mix.
In commercial areas, there are lots of cameras that if we knew that they were available and we could get that information quickly to the police, then they would be resolving situations in a much more timely fashion.
Residential cameras are also a focus of the project, but the city says privacy won't be an issue.
So we're not surveilling anyone. This is if someone does have that footage and it occurs and they want it to be used later, it can be used as evidence, but there is no surveillance of citizens through this program.
The city hopes locals will volunteer for the project over the next 3 years. Caleb Harder, BCIT Magazine.
We now go live to our reporter Caleb Harder. Caleb, how does this new registration initiative change how police access closed-circuit surveillance footage?
Well, when people register their cameras with the city, it gives police a chance to bypass the whole process of going door to door asking for footage and makes the whole entire process of investigating much quicker. Justis?
And what other initiatives has the city launched in regards to public safety?
Well, the city plans on enhancing their current initiatives and also plans on adding some new ones as well. This includes their plan to curb gang-related crime over the long-term run by adding some after-school programs. Back to you in studio.
Graffiti is on the rise in the Lower Mainland, and a new SkyTrain line has given taggers a new campus. Eric Dackwitz has more.
Taggers in Vancouver are putting paint where they don't have permission, and the problem is only getting worse. The Anti-Graffiti Symposium is an annual conference for people working to prevent and reduce graffiti vandalism. The event is especially relevant this year as the Evergreen SkyTrain line opens in the Tri-City area, providing an even bigger canvas for graffiti.
We've seen with Burnaby, Vancouver, any city that's had SkyTrain brought in, that it does bring in graffiti, and graffiti is usually related to some other crimes. So we're aware that this can happen. They've taken a lot of steps to be prepared for that, and I think that this is just another proactive step that you can take.
Tags like these can be found throughout the Lower Mainland, and authorities say that the issue expands further than just paint on walls.
But the social impact it has on our communities by creating fear, and that fear of not being safe, because it's that broken window theory that, you know, if we don't deal with the small stuff and graffiti and vandalism is left, then other crimes can come in and people then have that perception of fear.
Vancouver spends over $2 million annually removing graffiti like this from city property, money that comes out of taxpayers' pockets.
When you think about it, it affects everybody. I mean, municipalities have budgets to remove graffiti, and of course, budgets come from taxes. So, you know, graffiti affects really everybody, everywhere.
Education is the key to prevention, and attendees of the conference will learn about the impact of vandalism and share the best practices in further preventing the problem. Eric Dakwitz in Coquitlam for BCIT Magazine.
A homeless shelter in the downtown east side is competing for $50,000 to reintroduce their reception area. Quinn Allen has the story.
The First United Church Community Ministry Society sees hundreds of homeless people come through their doors every day.
So the Aviva Fund is a donation-based contest that is all for different kinds of projects. So not-for-profit organizations put in their project ideas, they submit them, and they are voted on by crowdsourced voting. And there's a final judgment period that involves all of the projects that are in the top 5 of each group. So altogether, I think there's 30 projects that get voted on, and there are 6 projects that receive award money.
The reception area, known as the Hub, currently only helps one person at a time. The society is trying to get donations to renovate through the Aviva Community Fund contest.
We hand out winter clothes like mitts and toques, sometimes jackets. We have socks, we have underwear, we have toiletries, and people just come to the window and ask for what they need. We give them that.
With the $50,000 donation, First United will be able to help numerous people at once.
The expansion of our window by about 8 feet will allow us to help more people more quickly. It's also a lot more welcoming and not so dark. A big way for you to do that without spending any money and very little time or even coming here is just by voting in this campaign to help us out, and hopefully we can successfully get this money.
They currently sit in 3rd place with voting ending on Friday. You can register to vote through your own Facebook account. Quinn Allen in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, high rents and parking fees cause White Rock restaurants to shut down.
Hurlers in Coquitlam are struggling to keep the sport in their city.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station, like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
A defining moment for me was when I finished my first internship and got lots of really great feedback from industry professionals.
I would have never imagined I'd be walking into the floors of TSN and thinking, I'm not a student anymore, I'm here to work.
I will be starting a job with an investigative news program in Toronto, and I'm really excited to see that grow into what will become, hopefully, my dream job.
BCIT broadcast and online journalism, putting you to work.
I don't know, like weather, right? Welcome back. A mobile market brings healthy food closer to people in need. Radhika Sikakane reports that the pop-up shop provides fresh fruit and vegetables at a low cost.
The ability to afford fruits and vegetables at a local grocery store is often something many people take for granted. That's why the Greater Vancouver Food Bank has created mobile curbside fresh markets like this one to provide fresh fruit and vegetables to areas of the city with limited food access.
It started as a market to come out to areas that we call food deserts. So it's areas that were identified with low income and high density areas within Greater Vancouver. So the first year of the program was through the City of Vancouver, and then we've added to this year we've got 6 markets going now.
On Tuesdays, the mobile market sets up in front of the Gordon Neighborhood House. The curbside fresh market is strategically placed in areas of Vancouver with high-density, low-income housing, like the building behind me. In a statement from the food bank, they said, "The curbside fresh market is a valuable learning process for us as we work towards our vision of accessible, healthy, and sustainable food for all, and to continue to strive towards improving the overall health of our community. The food bank is looking at this type of market as a potential long-term solution to address limited access to fresh foods. Although the market is focused on low-income residents, it is open to everyone. Radhika Sigakane in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Cyclists across Greater Vancouver have been facing heavy rain on their commutes during Bike to Work Week. The week-long event is organized by Hub Cycling and encourages people to stay healthy, reduce emissions, and spend less time waiting in traffic. Rainy commuters were greeted under tents at BCIT's Burnaby campus on Thursday morning with coffee and treats.
The safer we make the lanes, the more comfortable, the more normal we make cycling, the more people are going to do it. And the more people who do cycle, for everybody else who's got to drive, that's fewer vehicles on the road and less emissions in the air and a bunch of happier people on campus in general.
BCIT's School of Transportation also pitched a tent, which gave cyclists a chance to tune up their bikes and pump their tires before classes. We are now joined in studio by Joe Boyd, the coordinator of the BCIT Cycling Committee. Joe, how was the participation in this year's Bike to Work Week?
This year it's been really good. Despite the rain and wind this morning, we had a lot of cyclists come out, and we've got lots of support with the station and through the different stations around the city, so it's been very good.
What is the cycling culture like here at BCIT?
It's supportive and it's active. There's cyclists all across the campus. One of the key things is that cycling committee is part of the BCIT Green Team, so supporting sustainable transportation. And for things like the station this morning, we've got people from departments all across the campus. So facilities, safety and security, rec services, everyone's helping out and helping to make it easier, safer for people who want to cycle to work and to school.
So what would you say to someone who's hesitant to start cycling to work?
A really good tip is to find a buddy, someone who you know is riding and somewhere close to you, so you can go along with them and they'll show you tips, show you good routes. Hub has some great websites, great resources, maps. They do courses as well for different aspects of cycling. And just be careful, watch what you're doing, and enjoy yourself. It can be fun, and as you say, you can avoid a lot of traffic by cycling.
Well, that sounds really great. Some really great tips for getting people to get started. Thanks so much for joining us, Joe.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
A Coquitlam curling rink is at risk of being converted into a full-time ice skating rink, and the curlers are upset. Nicole Aud has more on what the future holds for the Poyer Sport and Leisure Centre.
Dave Parsons has been with the Coquitlam Curling Association for over 25 years and is a past president of the club.
Okay, don't be late. They're all the way, guys.
Every Monday, he and other members of the association hit the ice in the men's senior league. Now, a proposal from the city could result in the club being removed from their home.
The City of Coquitlam is unable to comment on this issue. However, they provided this draft arena strategy that was presented to Council in August. In it, the city says that the curling rink is underutilized and has high operating costs. They argue that curling only recovers 20% of ice costs compared to 60% in a typical skating rink.
It's a city-run thing, and it's not supposed to be, it's not supposed to make a profit on it. And we got all these old guys, got nothing to do, got Special Olympics, they're going to kick out of here. You know, all the seniors, which we got 108 of them, they got out of here Monday and Thursday. And where are they going to go?
Coquitlam Curling Association President Erlene Graham says the sport is accessible for all ages.
It is a sport that we can start as early as 3 or 4 years of age, right up to 80, 85, 90 if they're a healthy person that can be out on the ice. The City of Coquitlam is mandating right now that we need to have the boomers, as they refer to our age group, more active and get them out there. This not only is a physical activity, it's a mental activity, it's a social activity.
When you get old like me, I got bad ankles, so I use a stick. I use a broom. Most guys use a stick. And if you don't sweep, who cares?
While the Coquitlam Curling Association members continue to play the game they love, they have expressed their concerns to City Council. The city says a final decision will be made later this fall. Nicole Aud in Coquitlam for BCIT Magazine.
Our reporter Nicole Aud now joins us live. Nicole, what prompted this look at the arenas in Coquitlam?
Earlier this year, an independent consultant produced a report that looked at arena usage in the city. The report concluded that the number of curlers in the community is going down, whereas the demand for skating ice is increasing. However, curlers I spoke to disputed the statistics used in the report. Kylie?
And where will the curlers go if they lose their ice?
So the city of Coquitlam is suggesting that the group actually join up with the Port Moody Curling Club. The mayor of Port Moody supports this. However, the two clubs in question do not favor it. They say that if the changes go into effect, a large number of curlers might ultimately end up quitting the game they love. Back to you.
Restaurant owners in White Rock are being forced to close as fewer patrons are visiting the waterfront. My co-anchor Kylie Edwards has more on the challenges that restaurants face in staying open.
Restaurants along this stretch of White Rock Beach are struggling to stay open. 11 restaurants in the past 4 years have permanently closed down. Jenny Silk says parking, paying the bills, and the slow winter season are all reasons why running a restaurant on the beach is difficult, but their regular customers are keeping them going.
Taking care of our regulars, I mean, that's really how we've gotten through this and be able to keep people coming in, offering them something that they're not getting anywhere else.
Shafiq Salimi wants a better variety of businesses on the beach to attract a more diverse group of people.
You come in for a stroll to the beach, you go into restaurants, cafes, but also you go into other maybe artist studios or bead shops. We need to have other kinds of businesses to improve on our overall ambience of the beach.
Salimi wants help from the city and the Business Improvement Association to make this happen. The City of White Rock was unavailable to comment, but the Business Improvement Association says they have several plans in the works to attract more customers on the Strip. Owners like Shafiq are hoping to see improvements soon to prevent them from joining the others that have closed down in the area. Kylie Edwards in White Rock for BCIT Magazine. After the break on BCIT Magazine, the Chinese women's hockey team is in town preparing for the Olympic qualifiers.
And a botanical garden comes alive in the spirit of Halloween.
The most rewarding thing for me has been the relationships I developed in the program, both with instructors and classmates.
My sense of confidence has never been higher. I mean, this program has offered great opportunities to be in real world, real industry situations, and being in those moments and knowing I can contribute, I can do this.
It's exciting to be in this industry and to meet lots of great people and to make amazing friends.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, realizing your potential.
Standby graphics, ready camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action, or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
Are you growing a mustache this month? Starting on Tuesday, men will be growing out their stashes to raise awareness for men's health issues. And at the end of the month, you can participate in the Movember Mustache Miler, a charity run with all proceeds being donated.
The 26th Annual Vancouver Health Show takes place November 5th and 6th at the Vancouver Convention Centre. Over 100 exhibitors will be there to educate consumers on health products and lifestyle choices. Be green and save 50% off your admission when you present a transit pass or a bike helmet.
Break the Thriller World Record. Dancers of all ages and abilities are invited to dress up like zombies and help recreate the famous Thriller dance. Be there at 3 p.m. sharp at the Cloverdale Youth Park and maybe practice the dance a few times first. Happy Halloween.
Welcome back. The Chinese national women's hockey team is in Richmond playing local teams. My co-anchor Justis Doucet has more on the team's goal. a spot in the 2018 Winter Olympics.
Although they don't speak the same language, they understand each other's passion for the game of hockey.
Well, they don't understand anything I say, and sometimes they don't with the interpreter too.
The Chinese Lady Dragons took on the South Coast Women's League All-Stars, and the Richmond Chinese community came out to show their support for their country's team.
And the top two from that qualifier goes to the 2018 Olympics. So most people have no idea that there's, another basically 8 teams, another 24 teams under that top division.
Beijing was selected as the host city for the 2022 Winter Olympics, but Team China are playing in qualifying tournaments in hopes of making the 2018 Olympics in South Korea. The last time China made the Olympics in women's hockey was a 7th place finish back in 2010. Haley Collison, the captain of the South Coast All-Stars, says it was nice to show off the women's game.
Knowing that these guys are battling to improve and develop and show better on the international stage, I think it's an honor to get to be a part of that.
While the Chinese program builds for future Olympics, they won't be spending much time at home, as the program is run out of Ontario to find competition easier.
No one really to play in China, so they've really committed to the women's ice hockey program, and they figure the best way to improve it is to embrace ourselves or immerse ourselves in the hockey culture in Canada and the U.S.
The Chinese national women's hockey team finished their West Coast trip with a 4-1 record, suffering their only loss at the hands of the UBC Thunderbirds. Justis Doucet in Richmond for BCIT Magazine. The generous donation of a local business has saved the coffee program at Burn Creek Secondary. Our reporter Kyle Benning tells us how the special needs program is continuing to brew success.
Every morning, teens in Byron Creek Community School's Access program are grinding beans and steaming milk, trying to make their teachers' mornings run a little smoother. The program is for students with developmental disabilities such as autism and Down syndrome, giving them a chance to practice communication and math skills. The program hasn't always functioned as smooth as the cappuccinos being brewed. The coffee machine had to be serviced every few months, taking away from the program's revenue, until a repair company served up an espresso shot.
I was expecting to go in and get a hefty bill to get the machine repaired this year, and I couldn't believe what they offered us. I mean, that machine's going to make all the difference in the world for a number of years to come for the program.
Genius Coffee and Espresso says it was a no-brainer to offer the school program an option to trade in their old machine for a new brewer worth $1,100.
So we always try to treat all customers equally in a way that we noticed that every 6 months they were spending like between $300 and $400 of a job, which shouldn't be done every 6 months, but I believe every couple of years or so.
For Mr. Davey?
Taylor Gibbs says the coffee program has given the class employability skills and makes them part of the school's community.
When we first met the students, they were very reticent. They were not so easily engaged with other teachers, but this was their job.
Also, we have a hot chocolate and a mocha.
All of the funds collected from coffee sales go towards funding for field trips and other educational opportunities for the Access program. Kyle Benning in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
A botanical garden is illuminating the woods and bringing Halloween into the 21st century. Our reporter Falaki Adasuba visits the first ever Glow in the Garden.
For the first time ever, the Van Dusen Garden is bringing their woods to life for Halloween. Up to 1,000 illuminated and glowing pumpkins are on display through the shadowy pathways of the woodland gardens. Spellbinding lights, gaulish music, and live carving demos by award-winning carvers Clive Cooper and Bruce Wogg are all part of the event.
There's dozens and dozens of varieties of pumpkins. It's just like the same with apples. There's Atlantic Giants, Big Macs, your garden variety jack-o'-lanterns. They all have a different name. There's wolf pumpkins with the big stems. There's like dozens and dozens of them. Like pie pumpkins, the small little pie pumpkins.
We wanted to bring a different element to Halloween for the public and do something that's family friendly and something that everyone can enjoy and really appreciate. So we thought that a pumpkin walk outside in our beautiful garden, as well as providing activities for an indoor aspect as well, would be a great idea for locals and for visitors.
Families had the chance to enjoy creating fun Halloween crafts indoors and then head back outside to pick up their very own pumpkin before heading home. They're hoping to make this a new tradition for the people of Vancouver. And as for what happens with the remaining pumpkins after Halloween, they are taken back to the farm to be seeded for next Halloween. Folaki Adesiba in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The flu is back in season, but that doesn't mean that you have to catch it. Vancouver Coastal Health is gearing up for this year's flu season and once again encouraging BC residents to get immunized. There's a particularly aggressive strain going around this season, and officials say it's even more important for children and seniors to be vaccinated.
And if you're in between those age groups, between the ages of 5 and 65, if you have any underlying health conditions, or if you're a contact of those at high risk, come on out, get immunized, and be protected and protect your loved ones around you.
Flu shots are now available at doctors' offices, pharmacies, and walk-in clinics across British Columbia.
Schools in Prince George have banned clown costumes this Halloween following a recent lockdown. On October 6th, RCMP alerted schools after discovering threatening Instagram posts of clowns with guns and a caption saying, "Every school in PG about to get hit."
Michael Bublé is getting in trouble with his neighbors. As the media reports, the multiple Grammy Award winner is building a 27,000 square foot home in Burnaby. It has been rumored that the house will be surrounded by an 8-foot tall fence, double that of the city's restriction. The city has granted him variances to the addition of the fence, but claimed that they aren't giving the artist special treatment.
If you have any questions regarding the show, you can contact us at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca.
I'm Justis Doucet.
And I'm Kylie Edwards. Thanks for watching.
We leave you now with footage of pumpkin carvers at Glow in the Garden. Happy Halloween.